Hello everyone. We're having our Hearty Chats right now, and this is where we catch up with moms and experts to share insights and stories from the heart. So I'm Sofie, founder of Hearty Mums, and I help career moms find fulfillment in work and life through a fit and hearty mind. So last week we put up a poll to find out what everybody wants to know more about in this group, and a lot of people chose finance. So this week we have found two finance experts to share their insights with us. And today it's my pleasure to chat with Sharon Singh Sidhu, a mom of two school-going children. And Sharon is a certified financial education instructor and leadership trainer on a mission to help women and moms experience financial wellness. So today she's going to be sharing with us on how the current pandemic could be a reset button for good personal finance habits. So thank you, Sharon, for joining us today.
Thanks, Sophie, for the introduction. I'm really glad to be here and appreciate the invitation.
Great. So first question for you, Sharon, is what are some common issues that women face when it comes to finance?
Okay, so I mean, if I can ask, usually what is the first thing that you think of when you hear of the word, finance or money? Whenever I ask this question to women, not just moms, just women in general, the first response I always get is either, "Oh, I'm not very good with numbers," or "I'm not really very interested, in the stock market, and I don't really have time to monitor the market." Or it could be even things like, my husband handles all of that, all the financial decisions and investing. He handles all the insurance plans. So those are very typical responses I'll tend to hear.
All right, amazing, great. So thank you, Sharon. I'm sure many women can identify with what you just shared. And I know you have experience, your experience spans 20 years in human resources and leadership training. And one thing you believe is that one should move beyond just purely financial knowledge, but to adopt sustainable habits and behaviors in life. And with this current situation, I think financial stability is on the mind of most working people. So I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions about, am I going to get a pay cut? How's my job security? And do I have sufficient savings? So I guess now is also the time to be more disciplined in handling our finances, especially if we have been neglecting this aspect. So can you share with us what it means to have good personal finance habits?
Yeah, I think you talked about it just now about how it is really not just about the knowledge or content. And also, it goes back again to the first question, right? What do people usually think of, or let's say specifically women, when we think about the word finance or money? I feel that typically it's always focused on the financial knowledge. Oh, you're supposed to set aside X percentage in savings, and then you must have like this type of a term insurance plan for protection. These are all knowledge. They are all content, which, yes, in our minds, our intellectual minds, we can understand, we can get it. We know we're not supposed to get into debt for our shopping bills. We know we're not supposed to be spending way more than we earn. We know the knowledge. But then the problem comes when people don't behave consistently with that knowledge, right? And so that's really what I hope to do by bringing in kind of like the behavior change and leadership stuff that we do a lot of. It is really about the habits, the actual behavior, the actual actions you take. Whether you're using the knowledge that you know and you're acting on it, or you're not, and a lot of people are not, right? So good personal finance habits is simply that you have put in place certain healthy habits. For example, every single month, without fail, whether you feel like it or not, you have that savings that you set aside regardless, right? And so that is a habit that requires, like you said, a discipline, motivation for sure, but very much more importantly is the systems. The systems, by what I mean by systems is there are days where you're not going to be motivated. There are going to be days where something crops up and you're like, oh yeah, I think this month I will not save because I really need to get this other thing. But when you have systems in place, whether it's an automatic deduction or whether it is, for my case, I make sure that my savings is in an account where I don't have an ATM card and access to. So it is it's a lot more troublesome for me to access the funds, and it's automatically deducted. From the very day my salary comes in, it goes out. So I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to plan about it. I don't have to feel it in a way. Yeah. So that is what I mean by personal, good and healthy financial habits. It's not just about what you know in your head, it's about the action you actually take, and you set up systems around it to make sure it works, whether you feel like it or not. Yeah.
Oh, I certainly like this. I like the part where you said make it automatic. You don't have to think so much about it, and it's already in place.
Yes.
So having a proper system, a structure is definitely very helpful. And yeah, one thing about habits is having routines that are easy and comfortable, and then you can really attain that. Otherwise, you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, and then that never
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Great. So what are three things that working women can do during this period to prepare for their future financial needs?
Mm-hmm. So, some of us may be in this situation now where maybe we did not have those healthy financial habits, right, to start with, and therefore we feel more stress, more financial anxiety because of that. We don't have that emergency fund set aside to help us to get over this period where maybe some of us have are facing the uncertainties of a job loss, or have already lost our jobs, or find difficulty paying for our rent or our mortgage. So for those people who have not, then I guess now is the time, unfortunately, it's the time to learn a very painful lesson that, number one, you have to make a decision that this is something that you will do. And decisions are like that. It's not hard to do. It's just, you just have to make a decision, and then you have to stick with that decision. So first thing is make a decision, identify some financial goals, for those of us maybe who have already set aside some emergency savings, and that's not really so much of a problem, it's also good to review whether any of your financial goals have changed, because as we go through life, it's not like we're going to have the same old financial goals for life. Things change, right? When before we have kids, before we got married versus after we have kids, can be different. Your financial goals can be different, right? And they will evolve. That's number one. So you have to identify what your financial goals are. Number two is not enough to just know again in your head what the financial goal. Oh, I need to set aside this amount of emergency funds, like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. It's not enough to just identify the goal. You need to know why these goals are important to you. Because if you don't understand why, or you don't have very, very clear vision of why it's very important, then it's easy to waver. When things get tough, it's easy for you to not stick with it. So personal example, for me, my why I even back up a bit, okay, just like quickly, why I even got into this journey is because I actually encountered, my husband and I, we actually started a cafe and ran it for 4 years, but unfortunately it didn't do as well as we had planned. In F&B industry, it's not easy, and because of that we incurred a significant amount of business debt, and that was very painful to learn. And it was because of that I identified my financial goals, and I identified my why it is so important to really get myself educated on finance. Even though my idea back then was that so boring, I'm not interested in the stock market, I'm not interested in being a finance book, but money affects all parts of your life. So if you want to have a happy, fulfilled, peace of mind, experience wellness, it is one of those things that you just need to get in order.
Exactly.
So for me, my why was very clear. As parents, we need to make sure that we provide a certain lifestyle that we want to provide for our family. Definitely my kids, our kids are school going, so college, university, if they do decide to go and if they can go, of course, it's also a significant amount of money. So my goals are very clearly college education, retirement planning, and paying off debt. So those are my 3 goals. So, and why I want why that's important for me is because I know that by achieving those goals, I know I will feel a lot more at peace, less anxious, and the mental well-being, emotional well-being, and relationships well-being. Yeah, so that's the why you need to know. Then finally, third, after you know all this already, then you actually need to take action. No point you have all these thoughts in your head, but you don't take any action. So you need to identify what's the first next step. One action. Don't make it so hard, like we talked about earlier, right? Habits, it's hard to stick with when you make it too big and ambitious, and that's why those diet goals very, very difficult to stick with it in the long run. So make it very simple. If it is emergency savings, then go set up the automatic transfer, or and set up maybe a separate account if you can, or if that's something you prefer, and then set that up. For me also, another thing I did was also to make sure that whenever I used to always be late on my credit card bills, because I would forget the date, and I don't do an automatic. I mean, it seems so simple, right? Like, you would think that, don't you just pay on gyro? But sometimes when you have cash flow, you don't, right? So what I did instead was to manage the cash flow. I actually have it charged to a credit card, and only have one credit card for rebates and for essential expenses that I know every month I will pay off in full. But that way I never ever am late on the bill, right? And then I just need to remember one date. I don't need to remember, utility is due here, water is due here, and then insurance premium is due here. Everything just goes into one place. I just remember that one date. So you want to make it very simple for yourself. Yeah.
Wow, those are really practical goals.
Yeah, so those are like the 3 steps. Make sure, number 1, you know what your financial goal is. Number 2, you know why those goals are important to you. And number 3, just take one simple, small action to start. Then you can build over time.
Wow, awesome. Thank you for sharing. I think I picked up a lot of tips as well. And I think this current situation that everyone is in, it's also kind of a wake-up call to really review and reflect on how you are financially and how you want to approach it. And I love what you say. And Jenny is helping us to summarize that in the chat as well. Thank you, Jenny. Identify, why, identify your financial goals, why are you doing this, and what is your next action step. Definitely very practical, very doable.
Yes. Yeah, it's very doable for anyone. You don't even really need any kind of financial kind of knowledge to start with. It's just based on your own daily life, daily living, daily needs. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your sharing. Great insights from you. And so to those who are going to be watching this replay, feel free to post your questions. I've just looked at our chat. There are no questions. Everyone's good. Very well covered. So if anyone else has questions when watching the replay, please feel free to write them in the comments, and I'm sure Sharon will answer them there. So we hope that this session has been useful for you. And please join us the next session as we chat with Eugene Xia, who's another financial expert in our group. And he'll be coming on Friday evening. So watch out for the posters with the details of time and date. And so till then, please join us again for another episode of Hearty Chats. Keep well and speak soon.